Hello everyone, my name is Amanpreet Kaur and my student ID is DAI2033. Today I'm going to present my topic on monopolistic competition and oligopoly, which is part of international trade and enterprises. Firstly, I would like to introduce you about this topic. In this, we are going to study and understand market structure, which is crucial for the development of future and current economic strategies like market demand and supply, pricing, promotions, and a lot more, providing the benefit and margins in the market. Firstly, what is market structure? It is dynamic and evolving from time to time. It relies upon the competition, which is the most significant factor in the economic performance, and the changing trends in the consumer market. Market structure is heavily influenced by various factors, which includes barriers of entry to trade, demand and supply curves, taxes, interest rate, product differentiation, nature of product, number and concentration of firms and their sizes. Now I would like to talk about the monopolistic competition. Monopolistic market structure is quite widespread and is eminent in Australian market, which you can clearly see from the picture that I have added here. Characteristics of monopolistic competition include ease of entry and exit for firms in the business market. Each firm earns a normal profit in the long run. Price makers, downward sloping demand curve. Profit can be maximized due to engagement of entrepreneurs and strategic decision, aiming to differentiate in the market. It requires strong advertising strategies to consumer market. Examples of monopolistic competition are several small businesses like restaurants, clothing stores, hairdressers, and hospitals, which function under the monopolistic competition as they possess a unique, differentiated product. Second is oligopoly. In an oligopoly market structure, there are a few but large firms which work on the similar nature of product or service that is homogeneous in nature. These firms account for the total production, and these products may or may not be differentiated in the market. Characteristics of oligopoly market structure includes price setters, entry and exit to trade and barriers, profits, homogeneous product, perfect knowledge, interdependence, non-pricing competition. Example of oligopoly. Most oligopoly firms in Australian market are such as in banking sector, that is Commonwealth Bank. ANZ dominates over others in telecommunication sector gone by TPG, Telstra or Optus.
In the presentation of international trade and enterprises, IJ Group Corp will be discussing the monopolistic competition in different sectors, and after this I will discussing the Australia's textile and clothing industries, and the updated data is available. Market size of the global textile and apparel industry 2016 to 2021. Monopolistic competition in different sectors. Restaurants. Restaurants are the main participant on worth of foodstuffs as much as their price. Hairdressers, services which will give the businesses a status for the value of cutting the hair. Clothing, clothes are specially which are designer or labeled with the brand and similarity of the product. TV programs, due to the increased globalization and the mixture of programs which are telecasted on television from different links around the world. Customers can choose among national channels, but them also imports from different nations and new facilities such as Netflix. Australia's textiles and clothing industry. Australia's textiles and clothing industries through the time period of Australia growth. At that time, local programs promote the building nations, employ creation and development. Following administration set the employment policies to protect local clothing and textiles manufacturing industries from challenging imports, as the C&T firms became a main source of employment who were less skilled, especially for ladies and refugees. the protection of firms that create a subdivision of low caste in which international firms that wish to enter the local market were provoked to establish the facilities of production in Australia. Exactly the tariff wall, but parental industries tend not to detect, specialize in the manufacture or inquiry and progress in Australia. Market size of the global textile and apparel industry 2016 to 2021. Textile mills market. The textile mills market includes yarns and fabrics. The market value includes domestic production plus imports minus exports, all valued at manufacturer prices. The value of the global textile mills market totaled 66.7.5 billion in 2015, up 1.5% from a year earlier. The compound annual growth rate of the market was 4.4% between 2011 to 2015. Asia Pacific accounted for 54.6% of the global textile mills market value in 2015, and Europe accounted for a further 20.6% of the market value. The global textile mills market is forecast to reach 84 to 6.6 billion in value in 2020, an increase of 26.2% since 2015. The compound annual growth rate of the market in the period 2015 to 2020 is predicted to be 4.8%. Further explanation will be discussing by my fellow Jasmeet Kaur. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jasmeet, and I'm speaking about oligopoly in Australia's banking sector today. Oligopoly market structure is characterized by few large interdependent firms and high barriers to entry. The large firm usually obtain economies of scale due to their size of the business and its major source of the entry barriers. Due to the strong entry barriers, large firm enjoy massive market power and the products may be homogeneous or differentiated. So the market may obtain the non-price competition in the oligopoly market structure. The oligopoly market structure can be earned supernormal profit both in short and the long run, but sometimes the large firms are collude, but collusion restrict the output as well as the profit. Oligopoly is very common form of market structure for the Australia, as most of the major industries are characterized by oligopolistic behavior. For example, airline, banking, supermarkets, and the telecommunication are such industries where oligopoly plays a dominating role. But there's a key problem with the Australian big oligopolies is that it impedes the innovators and inhibit growth. It is not only the productivity, but that is being impacted by the dominant oligopoly and the weak competition, but the consumers, suppliers, employers, and the contractors also affected by that. One of the way to deal with the problem of oligopoly is through well-regulated competition regulations, and Australian Competition and Consumer Commission is a good regulator, but it still needs better regulation and the suitable tools to regulate the competitive behavior of the company and as well as the business. Thank you.
Everyone, I will continue as part of our assignment, which is example of oligopoly in Australia, that is banking industry. Banking industry is one of the classic examples of oligopoly market structure in Australia. It is true that Australian economy has remained almost unscathed during GFC 2008 because of strong and robust financial sector. But the financial industry in Australia is one of the most concentrated industry in the world. The quasi-oligopoly in banking sector is dominated by four large banks that includes ANZ Bank, Westpac, Commonwealth Bank of Australia and National Australia Bank. The four pillars of Australian banking industry constitute almost 75% of the market share. The larger banks exploited their customers at a massive scale and generated super profits for long. Since 1990s, the four pillars policy have underpinned the banking industry. The banking industry is now so concentrated that they can set the price or pass on the cost to the customers without having any fear to lose the market share. Due to their abusive market power, the four big banks are able to maintain their market position through exploiting their customers with higher price, conflicted advice, and remuneration arrangements. The customers have no other option but to remain loyal to unstable products because of lack of easily accessible information. Banking system is undoubtedly strong in the country, but little regulation have been made to make the customers stronger. Real market power needs to be given to customers so that they can make more informed choices. A recent report that was published in February 2019 has exposed the greed, dishonesty, and misconduct at the heart of the banking system. Banking sector is an established oligopoly that needs urgent reform to boost the confidence and enhance the transparency in the financial system. Rod Smith, the chairman of ACCC, has taken serious steps to tighten the regulation for the top four banks of the country. At the same time, foreign banks are facing tougher challenges in establishing their presence in Australia's retail market. The foreign banks are unlikely to achieve the deposit base large enough to compete with big four pillars. The four big banks have established one of the most aggressive retail banking sectors in the world and are running strong and stable business for over 3 decades in Australia. But the overall outlook of banking industry is now challenging as the profitability, equity, and dividends are now falling, though none of them has reported a loss. While the combined profit in 2019 has come down by 7.8% from 2018, the return on equity has also fell by 11% in 2019. The profitability of banking sector is very much tied with the economic performance of the economy. Thus, the banking industry will continue to face critical challenges in 2020 and 2021 because of the weak domestic economy and the super low interest rate. It is no doubt a challenging time for Australian banking sector, but the strong, open and stable Australian economy is expected to withstand such challenges. Now, conclusion. Development of economic strategies depend upon understanding of market structure. Market structure relies upon competition, which is a crucial factor in economic performance and is heavily influenced by barriers of entry to trade, demand and supply curve, number and concentration of curves, their sizes, etc. The idea of market framework is halfway to both economics and marketing. Besides, there are different characteristics in these four prevalent types of market structure, which is perfect competition, monopolistic competition, oligopoly, and monopoly. Perfect competition, which is many operators of the systemic product. Monopolistic competition, which has many vendor of distinguished product. Oligopoly has few retailers of one's systematized or a different product. And monopoly, which is a single retailer of product for which there is completely no close replacement. These four market structure each support for an universal feature of a type of real market. Market structure is crucial for the reason that it influences market effects through its effects on the motivations, possibilities, and conclusion of economical actors participating in the market. Here I'll conclude my part. Thank you.